What is up, everybody? It's your boy Reafi. We're back here again, and if you guys didn't notice already, they actually just did an update for this game. As we're speaking, I just got finished updating, so if you guys head over to this notice, I've already clicked on it, okay, but I promise I haven't really read it, so we're going to go over it together. You're going to click on this top left corner where it says notice, and then you're going to hit developers notes, and it should say new for you, where they just added a new thing, and they just added another Rift dungeon, which is going to be great because I know a lot of endgame players are starting to get bored because there's not a lot of content that they can really do, and it's just farming over and over and over, and we love new content that's challenging, and this actually kind of seems like it's going to be challenging. I skimmed over like the first part of it, and I think there's like 4 parts to it, so 3 developers notes. Okay, so there's going to be 3, okay? That is going to be a lot. So there's 5 locked areas surrounding the raid and Rift of Worlds, and of course they know that they're going to be doing 5 other dungeon battles that with raid. Now I actually don't know, or actually I don't think that this is all going to be team based. The Rift raid was team based, but if you look at the other dragons, you'll notice that they only have 1 head, whereas the Rift raid actually has 3 heads, so you know it makes sense that you bring 3 teammates for the 3 heads. But I actually looked at the picture down here as well, and it's only 1 person. So 1 head, 1 person. I think this is actually going to be single player. A lot of people were thinking it's going to be a lot of team-based areas, but I guess not. So let's go over it. So the first one, today we'll be talking about the Rift Dungeon. So it says, in the Rift of Worlds dungeon, you'll be collecting the rewards solely based on the amount of damage you inflict on the boss, regardless of whether you clear the dungeon or not. In other words, the more damage you inflict, the more rewards you get. Now, is this supposed to do with World Boss? Because it says Rift of Worlds. So, I have no idea what it's trying to say there. And it has a World Boss also picture right there. And then it's talking about... But this, actually, no. It is talking about the actual Rift. Okay. It's possible to defeat the boss completely if you're strong enough. However, the Rift of Worlds boss will be revived 3 times. And the boss will become stronger each time he's revived. So kind of like how the boss would jump and cleanse whenever you reach a certain point, this time he's actually going to revive, kind of like the Necro boss, and every time he comes back, he's bigger and stronger. So that actually kind of seems kind of annoying because he'll come back, obviously he'll revive without any debuffs whatsoever. So the boss can also escape if you fail to completely defeat him during the designated phase. Okay, so there's going to be a certain phase from which you have to actually kill him. If you don't kill him during that phase, then you can actually, he'll escape in a sense, which means there's probably going to be a certain window of opportunity where you can kill him, and if you don't kill him in that window of opportunity, then you're just going to have to wait until the next time. Alright, so moving on, you'll be able to inflict more damage when the boss is in a groggy state, so it's crucial to inflict as much damage as possible during this time. I understand the word groggy may sound unfamiliar to you, but I'll explain more on that below. So I think what this is trying to deal with is there's going to be a certain phase from the boss. I'm already looking at the certain skills, and it's looking at he's going to be using certain skills when he gets past a certain part. My guess is he gets into a groggy phase past a certain part, or maybe after he's revived, or maybe before he's revived or something like that. So it has to do something with something activating, and then you trying to kill him after that thing activates. So let's move on. The boss's new attack pattern. The Rift of Worlds boss is immune to all harmful effects. Oh, I haven't seen that part. That is bad. That is really tough. Because now you can't actually rely on attack break. You can't rely on any of those types of things. So now it's going to be solely based on bringing monsters that can survive all of the damage, all of it. The damage is going to be pure raw damage. You cannot affect it at all. The only way that you're going to be able to affect it is if you have buffs. And I think this boss actually won't remove buffs. I haven't seen anything on that yet. I guess we're going to keep moving forward and check that out. But this is actually looking tough already. So it's immune to all harmful effects, and he also has a different attack bar and skill usage. Please look at the images below for more info. When the boss's attack bar reaches where the skill icon is, the skill will be activated. Okay, so I was right on that account. So when he passes that certain line with that certain skill right there, it's going to activate. It looks like there's 2 different skills that are repeats, and then 1 skill that's about 50, or a little bit below 50%, around 45% mark. That actually looks unique, as well as the first part. I think the far right one is a passive, or maybe the starting skill, since it is all the way at the 100% mark. So, and when the attack gauge reaches the end, the boss will use the ultimate skill, and the attack bar will be reset. The process will be repeated. Okay, So actually, I'm wrong. So I thought that his health bar would activate these skills. I thought once his health bar passes it, he'll activate it. What actually happens is his attack gauge will increase, and as it passes that certain point, he will use that skill. So you see that little purple bar right there? That purple bar is his attack gauge, and as it increases, it'll activate the different consecutive skills, and then when it gets to the full amount, that's when he does his special move, which is the one that we were looking at 100%. So we were thinking backwards. We were thinking of HP, but that's just because the Rift boss was actually HP based, where he would activate skills certain HP percentages, 25%, 50, and 75. But yeah, so this one is all attack gauge based. So this is actually going to be pretty terrifying. You may be wondering why the attack pattern has changed so much from the current attack pattern, but this was intended due to the Rift dungeon battle process, so please keep reading. Alright, so yeah, it does look like that there's nothing on the right side as well. If you guys have actually checked that out and you notice that, there's actually no contribution rate on the right side. So that's basically 100% confirmation that this is going to be single player. This is not going to be with 2 other people or 1 other person or anything like that. This is actually just going to be you and only you. So you actually cannot get carried in these things unless they allow you to bring some friends reps or something like that. Alright, this is where we get into the groggy state ultimate skill being kind of explained. So let the boss fall in the groggy state before his ultimate skill is activated. Since the boss's ultimate skill can destroy the whole party, it's important to prevent the boss from activating the ultimate skill. One of the ways is to prevent him from using the ultimate skill is to defeat the boss by reducing his entire HP before he uses the ultimate skill. The defeated boss will fall into the groggy state and his attack bar will also reset. So the way it looks is actually if you take his HP bar completely away, he will go into some type of groggy state, and then you see that secondary HP bar right there. Actually, if you guys see that right in the middle of the screen, middle of the picture actually, and actually the first thing I noticed there is that there's actually debuffs on this HP bar. So the way it looks like is maybe his real HP bar, and then you put debuffs. You can put debuffs on that part, but you can't put debuffs on the entire giant HP bar. It's a little confusing, but that's okay. So he is in a groggy state, but if I notice this correctly, the debuffs is only when he's in a groggy state, maybe when he can't attack, if he, kind of like a stun. So if that's the case, then maybe attack break and glancing hit and all that stuff won't actually matter. So that's just speculation though. Don't take that for word yet. We have not gotten full skill descriptions of the boss yet. So the groggy state will remain in effect for a designated time until the boss restores the HP. However, while the boss is in the groggy state, he'll be inflicted with even more damage than usual. In other words, you'll be able to inflict great damage on the boss while preventing him from using the ultimate skill if you successfully make the boss fall into the groggy state. Okay, so fever time. I think they're just putting pictures, but 4 groggies required for a knockout. When the groggy time is over, the boss will become even stronger and the battle will restart. So his HP bar will go all the way back up and he'll come out of the groggy state. So when the groggy time is over, the boss will become even stronger and the battle will restart. Usually the battle lasts until all allies are defeated, but you can completely defeat the boss if you make him fall in the groggy state 4 times. Okay, so you don't necessarily have to take his HP, maybe his main HP bar all the way. I don't know what they're trying to explain there. Usually the battle lasts until all allies are defeated, but you can completely defeat the boss if you make him fall in the groggy state. So if he goes into the groggy state 4 times, it's done. Regardless of where his HP situation is. If maybe that HP bar we were looking at here is actually going up, and that's actually his recover time instead of his HP bar. It might actually just be recover time. So I think actually, yeah, that's actually what I think it is. So I think that bar right there, if you guys are looking at it in the middle of the screen, I think that's actually his recover time and not his HP. So I don't think there's actually 2 HP bars. I think it's just recover time. So special tips for the Rift Dungeon. A total of 5 Rift Dungeons will be open. So there's fire, water, wind, light, and dark will be open. You must consider the attribute relations in order to strategize your... what is that talking about? They're talking about Rift Dungeon. There's 5 attributes, right? There's 5 Rift Dungeons. We got the actual Rift, right? No. So the one we got currently is actually a non-Rift type dungeon. It's Rift Raid. But these dungeons, this is the raids. But these ones are the dungeons. So if you look, we got fire in the top right, then we got water at the very top, wind at the bottom right, and then light and dark on the left side. So That being said, Rift Raid is actually the raid, and the other ones are the dungeons. So raid is where you actually participate with your teammates, whereas the dungeons are all single player. Okay, that makes a lot more sense now. I didn't understand what they're trying to explain there for a second. So we are at this part right here. So it looks like they're adding the water one so far. Maybe they're adding the fire and the other ones too, but it only looks like they're showing the water one, which is this one, which is basically the groggy state. So in addition, each boss has different skills and ultimate skills. For example, a boss might summon various bombed monsters that will automatically explode, or might also grant harmful effects that can be removed only when the ally's HP is fully recovered. Similar to the raid, special effects will be activated according to how you place your allies in the front line and back line. So make sure to strategize your battle carefully. So this actually does have front line and back line just like the Rift raid. So that actually seems pretty cool because you're still going to be able to use your frontline monsters to kind of tank. But I don't know if this means it's going to have the same similar skills. Maybe some of his special skills are actually going to scale off of like HP or defensive stats and stuff like that, kind of like in Rift Raid. So that is still a little bit vague and unclear, but I guess we're going to see more when it does come out. So the Rift Dungeon rewards, this is what we're talking about. This is what we want to see. Okay, we want to see more stuff. And by the looks of it, I'm already looking at some of this stuff. Alright, the following is a list of rewards available from the Rift Dungeon. The various material items for the new content craft. Various material items to make new runes. Various material items that can be used to summon and strengthen the new content homunculus. Okay, that is very, very strange. So various material items for the new content craft. I think craft is going to have to do something with possibly kind of like fusion, but maybe backwards. No, I'm not backwards, but for crafting different things, maybe different items. They're maybe going to add new items to power up monsters. It's possible. They already said that it's to make new runes, right? So maybe either new type of runes or new runes that you don't have, meaning you could make a violent rune from scratch, but you would need a certain amount of things. And maybe the craft is like kind of like the window you go into to craft those runes. So various material items that can be used to summon and strengthen the new content homunculus. So the homunculus is completely unclear as of right now. I really don't understand that. So I guess we'll see more as it comes out with new content and more information soon. Again, with the new words craft and homunculus, the next two developer notes will be about craft and homunculus. So okay, yeah, they're going to be telling us shortly, but we don't know yet. This actually is looking like they're adding more content. I've been waiting because honestly, it gets really boring doing the same thing over in this game when you're pretty much done with everything. So I'm actually happy to see that they're adding new content, and this actually, looking at how it's actually going to be allowing you to create your runes, craft them, this should allow lower levels to kind of catch up a little bit. It's not going to be as much of a grind. I mean, it's still going to be grinding for this materials, but now those runes that you're trying to get, like that slot 6 HP percent, it's not going to be completely percent based, because now you can actually craft them. I'm kind of guessing. That's kind of what it feels like. So you might be able to craft a specific rune slot, and this will be easier than trying to just battle against RNG. So I'm actually really excited for that. Craft is a system where you can make various items, runes, and buildings using the materials required via gameplay. That's actually interesting now because it's items, runes, and buildings. So now we not only got runes that we're crafting, I thought it was only going to be runes, but now we got items and buildings. I don't know what the items are going to have. I think actually the items might have to do something with scrolls. If it's something like scrolls, I don't know if they would touch scrolls. Scrolls is like pretty much how they get their revenue because people buy packs. But if it is scrolls, that is something completely different and very ballsy on CompTOS's side. Very ballsy because that could cost them if it is, indeed scrolls, if you don't have to buy stuff, anymore in the game. But I think it's going to be pretty tough to make those kinds of items. I think the items are actually going to have to do something with cosmetics or maybe powering up monsters even further. Maybe they're going to go one step further than the runes and add more items into the game. Where you can power up the monster even more or give him a special effect or something like that. That would be pretty cool. We got the runes where you can craft new runes and stuff like that. And then we got buildings. What does that mean? There's going to be some new types of buildings that we're going to be able to craft maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe you're going to be able to strengthen your glory buildings. That might be a possibility. We just don't know yet. Right now, there's not enough information out to talk about that, but we know that there's going to be new items. We're going to be able to make items. We're going to be able to create runes. And we're also going to be able to create some types of buildings or upgrade them. It's going to be pretty wild, all right? With the new rune update, you'll be able to select and craft the rune set of your choice. of your choice. So maybe not the slot, but it wouldn't make sense if they would do a specific slot, you know, because I think if you're going to be creating a rune, you want that specific slot more than anything. You want a violet HP percent rune, right? But you want it on slot 6. You need it on slot 6 or something like that, you know? Okay, so here we're actually talking about more homunculus. Homunculus is a very special monster that's totally different from the current monsters. They can be summoned and strengthened via craft, and they will be playing a very important role in the game. Okay, so actually homunculus is actually monsters. It's no, it's a very special monster. It's kind of like, so it's going to be like kind of like fusion, how they add in a fusion and then you try to obtain that fusion. Instead, this is going to be crafting it. So this is no longer fusion, this is crafting. You're going to be crafting this very special monster, and it can be summoned and strengthened via craft. So this is kind of be like the craft version of fusion recipes, and you can strengthen it. And they will be playing a very important role in the game, which my guess is homunculus and crafting are going to be playing a very important game. So my guess is homunculus might be some new type of monster that you craft. This could be potentially the light ifrit. I'm just throwing that wild idea out there. If they decided to actually put in the light ifrit, someone already looked into the game files and saw the light ifrit, and they saw that the actual skills weren't that impressive. So I don't think it is actually the light ifrit, but one of my buddies was like, hey, did you see this? It could be the light ifrit. And I was like, no, probably isn't. So yeah, I don't think it's a light ifrit, guys. It just doesn't seem like that. They said it's going to be playing a very special role in the game, so I think it's going to be completely different. Maybe actually one of those special attributes, like if you go into Fame on Hell, like we'll go over there right now. If you go over into Fame on and you see these types of attributes, I don't actually know what type of attribute that is. Type common. Does it actually say the type for shoot, type defense? No, okay, so that's actually just like the attribute, or not the attribute type, but their actual status type. So I don't know what actual what's it's called, but it's like some like shadow type thing for the attribute. I don't know, but anyways, it could be potentially that type of attribute. So the first monster that we'll get of that attribute would be really cool. But yeah, anyways, that is going to be completely unique according to them, and it should be pretty cool. They say they'll be covering more information on the homunculus in the next developers notes in the near future, which means in the next couple days, maybe within the week. They'll also be running some final checkups regarding the content above, and therefore there may be changes to the content when the actual service begins. So this isn't set and done. They might actually change some of the actual Rift dungeons until it is released, so we just don't know yet, but this is a good preview of what it is. My final thoughts, guys, on the developers notes. This is actually pretty dope. Honestly, this is pretty awesome. The Rift raid that they added was pretty big step for them, because, you know, a lot of runes, you just had to keep farming to get those types of runes, and then you added upgrades. So now not only do we have upgrades, but now we have crafting runes. So this is going to be creating an entire different side of Summoner's War. And they said there's going to be items and also buildings. More information on that later, and we'll check that out when they do release that developers notes. But I just don't think that they might do scrolls. If they do scrolls, it's going to be crazy, and a lot of people are going to be happy about that, but they might face less money income, right? So I guess we'll see in the near future, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and as always, if you guys enjoyed my content, feel free to drop a like, and feel free to subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.